What is going on, guys? This is your host, Ani Umana, and welcome to the Next Gen Pod with my people, Jamie Shaw and Joe Tipton on 3. Guys, how y'all feeling? It's been a week since we did our last episode. Jamie, how are you feeling?
Man, I'm good. The basketball season's here. Spent the weekend on the road, going to events, coming back in. We got exhibitions being played. Basketball is in full force right now, and the season hasn't even started yet. Life is good.
Jamie has some tech issues before he got here. We need to give him a little pick-me-up,
Man, you're
Joe.
just airing it out, aren't you? Man, everything's smooth on this end.
You can't do nothing about it.
Everything's smooth on this end. I don't know what you're saying.
Ani, when you get a certain age, man, after you get past, 20s and 30s, you enter that new
with
threshold.
your little time into when you get to a certain age,
technology starts becoming a problem.
Man, not everybody can be 26 forever.
We found the fountain of you, Jamie. We found the fountain of you.
It's experience.
There we go. Experience. Perfect.
And relationships. Experience the relationships.
There you go. Joe, how you been?
I'm good, man. Excited. I think college basketball is 6 days away as we're shooting on Tuesday, October 28th. But the exhibitions have been fun. I try not to overreact, but I tend to do that anyway because I know it's an exhibition, it's a scrimmage, they don't count whatever, but like to me, in my mind, it's real. It's like a real game. Like it doesn't show up on
perfectly for overreactions. It's the overreaction time of the year.
Yes, but yeah, man, no, I'm doing good.
Good. This is the overreaction episode. So speaking of exhibition games, there are 3 freshmen that have been really showing out, and that's Darren Peterson, AJ Debanta, and Cam Boozer. So on this pod today, we're going to rank the 3. Jamie, I'll let you go first. Between these 3, who do you have 1, 2, and 3, and why is that?
Man, I got to tell you, before I get into kind of ranking, what a freshman class we're going to have this year. Such a unique situation looking throughout the entire landscape. When you're looking outside of the Dybanta, Boozer, Peterson race, you got guys like Malik Thomas, who showed out last night at Arkansas. You have guys like Caden Mingo at Penn State. You have guys like Caleb Wilson, who was unbelievable. For UNC, and Michael Brown at Louisville. This is one of the exciting times where freshmen could actually have a conversation in the landscape across college basketball this year, throughout the tournament, throughout the top 25, and throughout the Power 5 rankings. So it's going to be very fun to watch kind of that dynamic because everybody's talking about, you hear it all the time, freshmen are going to be, with the transfer portal, with the international players coming in, it's going to be the depth of freshmen in college basketball. Well, looking at what we've seen so far, the freshman class might make this season really exciting throughout the landscape.
Yeah, absolutely.
Are y'all guys seeing that too?
Yeah, I am.
100%.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at even the 3 that we mentioned, even some of the other ones, like there are freshmen out there that'll have a chance of being National Player of the Year.
Yeah,
and that's just really, really impressive. And like you said, where everyone's kind of saying what's going to happen to the high school player, or how are they going to be able to translate? There's a handful of them, even more than a handful, that are going to be impact players for these high major programs and going to impact winning. So really impressive. Heinz Steinbach as well. Like he's someone that I think his first exhibition game at like 20 and 16.
Yep.
There's several others that are going to be
Kingston
really
and Chris down at Houston.
Yeah, and they starting to come along, especially in that second exhibition game against Mississippi State. And there's going to be guys like King Grace, who's like, he's not going to be may have a big time role, but he's going to play a role. There's a lot of other freshmen out there that, even if it's coming off the bench, even if it's being the 5th starter, and maybe their box score stats aren't impressive, but they're defending, they're playing hard, they're rebounding, they're just impacting winning. So I think it's a really good freshman class. And yeah, at the top, we got some really, really talented one and done potential all-star, superstar NBA players. But we also got guys that are going to be really good 3-4 year college players that are doing work now as freshmen.
Mm-hmm. So for me, going into this class, the way overreaction going into from exhibition games, Cam Boozer 1, Darren Peterson 2, AJ Dybanta 3. Now, obviously, this is 2 different conversations that we're having because yesterday I wrote an article over at On3. Shameless plug, go check that out. about ranking the top of the NBA draft this upcoming year. But this is for college. This is for this season. Cam Boozer, when you look at what he did for Duke, just the grown physical measurements of what he did, 24 points and 23 rebounds. Obviously, the 24 points came on some shooting trouble, 7 of 20 from the field. Go and get that clean and polished up. The 23 rebounds and the 6 assists, the impact that he had on his team, playing 39 minutes in a road environment, hostile environment, top 25 environment at Tennessee, to come in and be able to understandably create that leverage, to be able to find the angles to get the rebounding work ahead of time. And some of the outlet passes that he threw were off the charts. His vision also in the half court set, getting the ball in the mid post, waiting on the help defense to come and passing away from the double team, from the help that was coming. Just a masterful game. We have seen that from him for 5 years now. We have seen that through 3 gold medals. We have seen that through 4 state championships and 3 Peach Jam championships. He consistently, against his peers, is able to find production. For that, I think the consistency that he has brought coming in, number one. Darren Peterson, number 2, I think he's going to have the he's going to have the usage. He's going to be there. I loved how Bill Self used him in this Kansas matchup. He took him off the ball and had him off the ball throughout the first part of the shot clock, getting him into the sets, and then the latter half of the shot clock, and letting him kind of go and create. Took the thinking aspect out of the game for him, just letting him go downhill and react and make plays. Shooting 6 of 10 from 3 is a big step for him. Finding the consistency of the jump shot is a big step for him. But Darren Peterson in an off-ball kind of secondary role, I'm very excited to see what that does for this Kansas team and what it looks like for him. And then AJ Dadbasta, while he's number 3 on this list, I don't see a scenario where somebody catches him as the number 1 pick in the draft.
Yeah.
But for his impact this year at BYU, I think he's number 3 on this list. 6'9", pushing 6'10", violently gets downhill. His ability to create space in the half court, and I think him playing in that construct of team where he's not going to have to do everything. He's going to have Rob Wright being able to bring the ball to the floor. He's going to have Richie Saunders to rely on for spacing and scoring as well, and Kepakita on the block with the backups they have as well. And then Kevin Young, I don't think it can be understated the impact that Kevin Young could have with AJ Dadbasta here, with the sets, with the footwork, getting him his shot and his spacing into his areas on the floor as well. So very excited to see what these guys do. Darren Peterson's 26. She had 30 from against Nebraska with AJ Dadbasta, followed by 18 against UNC in that big-time primetime matchup. And we haven't even started the season yet. So there we go. Boozer, Peterson, Dadbasta, 1, 2, 3.
There we go. Jamie Shaw break down his 3 in that ranking. You know what, Joe? I know you always break news, but I want to get your thoughts. Who are your top 3?
Yeah, it's tough for me because they're all such different players, but like watching Darren Peterson in that first half against Louisville, I can't remember the last time that I saw a first half performance like that. I mean, he was completely unguardable. The shot making display, I think he had 24 in 20 minutes in the first half. I mean, watching him do that, I have a hard time putting any. And then I watched Cam Boozer, like his exhibition against Tennessee. I'm like, yeah, like you dominated. Like, but like Darren Peterson, like I don't know, just my preference. Like I prefer guards over like power forwards or bigs. Like just like a little bit more pizzazz. And like Cam Boozer's game is very simple but very effective. But then Darren Peterson's like shot making, and so I would probably lean Darren Peterson 1. And then I would probably go Cam Boozer 2, and then Dabonsa 3. But it's obviously they're so different. But watching Peterson in that first half, I was just like, my mouth was just wide open. I just like couldn't believe what he was doing.
Yeah, no, what Darren does on the floor, how he gets his buckets is just it's incredible. I'm with Jamie. I think when you look at it, it's like 2 separate ways when you rank them. Like obviously from in the college aspect, and then pro projection. To me, I have Cam Boozer 1 just because I think he's one of those players I think will win, that has a chance to win National Player of the Year. Like you said, Tipton, his game's simple, but it's just so effective. I remember Jamie always tweeting about his outlet passes, but he really like ignites transition breaks because he just is such a great outlet passer. He's facing up, he's making shots on the perimeter, he's attacking closeout, he's rebounding, he's using his physicality and his strength to score inside. People kind of try to label him like a below the rim finisher. I think he's like at the rim. Like, I think he's very capable of finishing above the rim, but he's so strong, he knows how to shield off defenders and score. When you look at Darren Peterson, you're looking like a professional scorer. And I'm like you, Joe, like, if I had to do like a professional ranking, I would put him 1 just because he's a professional bucket getter that uses like the gravity that he generates from the defense to create for his teammates. I don't think he's a point guard, but like he just a guard that just has to have the ball in his hands, right? And then when you look at AJ DeBanza, that's such a relentless scorer. Like he has long strides, gets where he needs to. He finishes. Like sometimes maybe he can get a little ahead of himself, right? But just someone at his size with his mobility and his strides and his scoring ability is very impressive. So we're looking at 3 guys that have successful NBA careers they project to. But I'm with Jamie. If I would go Boozer, Darren, AJ, if I had to go a professional, I just think like Cam's floor is just so high. So I put him second, I put Darren first, and I put AJ 3.
And I think this is a fun conversation we can continue to have throughout the year because as we mentioned previously, you have guys like Michael Brown, you have guys like Caleb Wilson, you have guys like Nate Ament, you have guys like Malik Thomas, and the list goes on of guys who could actually enter into this conversation as the top freshmen. And the list probably get longer than 3 going, it could be a fun thing to revisit every month. Our freshman rankings, power rankings for the season.
You know what? That's what we're going to do one time each month. There you go, Jamie. We got our idea. One time each month, we're going to give our freshman power rankings. Let's go. You guys hear this first. Every month, we're going to have our freshman power rankings in college basketball. So let's get to the next topic. There's some commitments potentially coming up. Caleb Gaskins, Tipton, give us an update on where he is.
Yeah, 5-star forward Caleb Gaskins. He'll commit on Thursday, I believe, down to 3 schools: Miami, Florida, and Texas A&M. A&M just got a separate commitment from Josh Irving out of California, so I think that kind of knocks them out of the Gaskins recruitment. And I think it mainly came down to Miami and Florida. And even with Miami, like, his former high school and AAU coach, Andy Moran, is now an assistant at the University of Miami, joined Jay Lucas once he got the job. Ever since he got that job, Moran, everyone kind of thought that Gaskins would more than likely end up at Miami. He's a Florida native, and I continue to believe that Miami is the front runner. Now, obviously, in recruiting, and especially in this day and age with those high-level recruits like him being a top 10, top 15 recruit in this class, things are always subject to change, but I think Miami's probably in the best shape there. And what a pickup that would be for the Canes in Jay Lucas's first year at the helm.
Yeah, absolutely. That'd be a big time get, and I think he'll fit in where to how Jay wants to play. I think Caleb Gaskins will fit in perfectly. Let's go Christian Collins. I heard he's looking to commit soon. So give us the rundown on that.
Yeah, I think Christian's going to make a decision sooner rather than later. Could be even as soon as this week. No commitment date is out there yet. Took a handful of visits, but I think kind of the main 3 schools for him are USC, UCLA, and Kentucky. Following his Kentucky visit, there was a lot of buzz in favor of the Wildcats. But a lot of these recruitments as they go, like some schools prioritize the player more and in different ways, of course. But he is a Cali kid, and there is a certain draw for him to stay home. And USC and UCLA very, very much so want him bad, and Kentucky does too. But I think it's hard to pick a favorite in that recruitment. He's done a really good job of keeping things quiet. I would probably lean Kentucky or USC, but UCLA wouldn't surprise me. I wouldn't rule them out either.
That's interesting. Christian Collins, Caleb Gaskins, potentially. Well, Caleb Gaskins is going to commit on Thursday, and Christian Collins is looking to. He'll probably look to commit in the near future. Jamie, you have 2 players that you are wanting to give an update on. So Von Carvalho, give us the update on where he is and what schools he's targeting.
Von Carvalho, originally from Wisconsin, number 43 right now in the Rivals industry ranking. He's a 6'6" high flying forward, opted to play his senior year down in Arizona, Bella Vista. There's a lot of early buzz kind of as he was growing over this past year with some Syracuse, going to visit Syracuse. He went on an official visit there. He also officially visited Cal, Xavier in Indiana. Syracuse did not make the final list. On Saturday, he's going to end up choosing in between Cal, Xavier, Indiana. Talking with people kind of around the recruitment, Indiana seems to be carrying a lot of buzz with what he's got going. It'll be interesting to see how things kind of play out between now. As you know, the last couple of days in the recruitment can get a little crazy, can muddy the waters a little bit. But as I put you record onto this, a lot of the people are talking about Indiana with Von Carvalho. It'd be a very good, high profile kind of get for Darren DeVries and his group there. As I mentioned, Carvalho, he's a highlight machine. The dunks that he has, the putbacks, he keeps the cameras rolling.
Gotcha. Perfect. So Josiah Jervis, give us the rundown on him.
Josiah Jervis had a huge summer, helping lead his New York Rens team to the finals of Peach Jam. He jumped up to number 23 overall for Rivals in the rankings after that. 6'5", 6'4" shooting guard out of White Plains, New York, Stepanek. He originally had he originally set 8 schools visits: NC State, Michigan State, Pittsburgh, Texas, Illinois, Oregon, Florida, and he canceled in Tennessee. And he ended up canceling Texas, Illinois, Oregon, and Florida, going on the other 4 visits. Throughout this entire process, the first 2 visits he took, Michigan State, NC State, kind of carried momentum. They were the ones that everybody was looking at throughout this entire process. Talking with kind of sources coming off of his final visit, the Tennessee visit, leading into a possible commitment coming up in the next week or so. Michigan State and NC State are still the 2 schools that people were talking about. It seems to be that Tennessee made a move on his visit. It seems that Tennessee opened his eyes. It's not a foregone conclusion as to anywhere he's going. It's kind of a pick 'em right now as we're down the last stretch, these final 7 or 8 days of his recruitment. Michigan State, NC State are still the 2 schools I'm hearing the most. But it wouldn't surprise me to see Tennessee be able to make a final push in there, getting that conversation as well. But Josiah Jervis's recruitment picked up. It's been interesting to track along the way.
There you go, guys. Joe Tipton, Jamie Shaw, they gave you the update on 4 high-level prospects and where they're in their recruitment. So make sure you follow these guys. Make sure you subscribe to any of their content, because they're going to give you the latest on what's going on with these 226 prospects, especially with the National Signing Day coming up. We're going to see more and more guys announce where they're going to go. So to the next topic, G League guys coming to college basketball. There's a few more players that have came up. Joe, let's talk about Abdullah Ahmed. I know there's multiple schools that have had a lot of interest, but I heard it's a 2-man race on this one. So give us an update on where he may end up.
Yeah, so he's got visits set to BYU and Houston. Houston's up first. I believe it's next week as November starts. And then he'll see BYU and then make a decision shortly after. I think BYU is probably trailing Houston right now. At least that's what I've gathered in speaking with sources. So I would kind of watch the Houston Cougars. Obviously, he'll be a Cougar either way. But I'm watching Houston the closest in that recruitment. And it's not surprising to me how much of an uproar there has been that from college fans about these G League players coming over to play college basketball. But just to let everyone know, this is very similar to what we saw with all the international players coming over. I don't think I was talking to this about with Jamie yesterday. I don't think fans realize that, like, just because a kid was playing in Europe or somewhere overseas, that they fully realize that those players, most of them were professional. And I just, as Americans, like, we associate G League with pro, but like if you're just playing, like, a lot of college fans aren't associating Barcelona as like this pro team. Like they just think it's like, oh, it's just like this like club that like guys are like playing in, like, in Italy or whatever. So in all over the Europe. So I think the biggest thing for fans to realize is it's very similar to like most of these fans, these teams, they have international players now. Like you look up like Carolina, Virginia, like so many of these high level programs have international players that played pro. So it's very similar situation what we're seeing now with the G League, them obtaining eligibility. But just to remind everyone, you couldn't have previously played college basketball. So you can't just like go to college, go to the G League, and then bounce back to college if that doesn't work out. So it has to be guys that bypassed college originally. You have to be within a 5-year window of graduating high school. And you also couldn't have played in an NBA regular season game. If you do, it basically automatically disqualifies you. Yes, you can sue and try to, obtain eligibility. That's a very common and popular way players are getting their eligibility, and some of them are succeeding. But yeah, I think it's obviously a very trending topic right now in the sport. And at least from what I've been able to see, fans hate it. I don't mind it personally. But I definitely feel for all the high schoolers that are trying to find a college and, it kind of affecting them.
Yeah.
It seems too that like within this is a very small group of people this is affecting. Well, as the rules currently state, now obviously there could be some more precedents set and everything, but correct me if I'm wrong, Joe. It seems like this is a very minute group of people that fit within the parameters as to that could potentially gain this eligibility.
Yeah, it's probably only
a handful.
At least I have like a list of 8 players that could get eligible. Like it's probably not more than, I'm probably missing a few, but probably not more than 10 or 12. So it's not like it's going to be like how many international players that played pro are in college basketball now? Like 100? You know what I mean? So it's like, it's going to be, it's not going to be this, it's not going to be necessarily a new trend because players now aren't going to G League United. It doesn't exist anymore. Like players aren't passing up the opportunity to play college basketball now to like sign a pro deal with OTE or sign a pro deal with the G League United or go straight to the G League because you can make more money in college. That's why they're coming back. You know what I mean? Because it's obviously their pro dreams aren't currently working out for them. So come back to college, make a ton of money through NIL. So it's not going to be something we're going to see a lot moving forward. It's going to be pretty short lived unless there is precedence, like Jamie said, that changes this entirely. So
yeah.
Right. As where the rules stand right now, I agree with you. Like right now, you're probably talking about at the most 10 to 12, right? And then maybe next year, those numbers are going to dwindle significantly, and then it's not even really going to be a factor because kids are just going to go to college. There's no Ignite, like you said, they're not going to skip college to sign a pro deal for like to OTE. So this is just kind of like a one-off like type situation, like as far as the year, but it makes the brand of basketball better. I know there's people that are upset, but looking at these exhibition games, and I've been just going back watching a lot of games. These games have been really, really good. and there's some professionals. There's some guys that play professionally overseas, and they are help making the brand of basketball a lot better. So I do know, like we talked about a few episodes ago, we do know who it impacts, and that does suck. But we also are enjoying the basketball that we're seeing out there. So there's another player from the G League that is that'll have college eligibility, and that's TJ Clark. So talk about him. Where is his recruitment and schools that are looking at him?
Yeah, very early stages for TJ. He's originally out of Georgia, signed a pro deal with OTE, and then has been in the G League for a couple of years. I think he'll turn 22 next month. I think he should have, if approved from the NCAA, 2 years of eligibility left to play in college. But at least a few schools that have reached out to him and engaged some interest: Ohio State, Auburn, Tennessee, Georgia Tech, Texas A&M. And a few others, but no visit set for him right now, at least as of Monday when I spoke with him. But he could be another guy to watch that, a high major might look to grab.
Perfect.
Joe, let me ask you this: with these two guys and these guys moving forward, obviously with London Johnson, he's enrolling mid-year and spending some time. Are these guys going to be playing in the G League this year? Or are they kind of foregoing their G League this season, enrolling mid-year, and then looking to go kind of, red shirt and then go from there?
I think with London Johnson and TJ Clark, both of them are foregoing enrolling in school. I believe in this case, they'll enroll at mid-year, second semester, and then sit out the rest of the season and then play the following season, 26-27 season. And then Abdul Ahmad, that we were talking about, that's choosing between Houston and BYU. His is a little bit more fluid. he could actually play at the start of second semester. But it depends on how many years of eligibility he gets. Because, for example, if he starts playing in January for, let's just say for this example, the University of Houston, if he only gets 2 years of eligibility from the NCAA, he doesn't want to burn 1 full year of eligibility with half a season. So he might just sit out. If he gets 3 years of eligibility from the NCAA, then he might just play half a year at Houston, and then technically he could do 2 more at Houston. So, or BYU, wherever he chooses. I don't want to assume. But so yeah, it's most of the time they're going to be sitting out. They'll enroll and then sit out the rest of the season, play next.
Makes sense. So Joe, like, how much? I have a question for you. How much does? Because some schools they can bring in a guy sooner than other schools. Like, how much does that impact the kid's like decision where he wants to go?
Yeah, it's a really good question. Actually, and I've only heard about a couple different cases where a player is impatient and doesn't want to wait 2 months to enroll, or in some cases they won't even be able to. Obviously, we just named a couple of guys that won't even play until next college basketball season. But in my opinion, it's not necessarily as big of a deal. Like, I mean, you have the opportunity to come back to college basketball. Like, you're going to make some of these guys are going to make like a ton of money. Like, some of these numbers being tossed out for some of these dudes, like they're going to be making way more than they're making in the G League, whether they're making $40,000-$70,000 a year. Like, you're going to make 10x that, and sometimes even more than that by coming back to the sport. So I think a lot of the time, the timeline, they just understand, like, college classes have started, the season's about to start. Like, you can't just suit up right away. Like, there are still rules in college sports here, folks. Like, we do have to abide by them to some degree. But I think most of the time players understand that, and they're willing to go ahead and I think it's smart to enroll for the second semester, practice with the team, get up and down with the team, learn the system, right? Learn the offense, learn who your teammates are, right? And then so you're ready to go. You already have a leg up.
Remember what it's like to go to school.
Right.
Yeah.
Remember how it's like to go to school.
Yeah. Learn how to study again. All the things.
These guys have been out of school for 3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Jamie, any closing thoughts?
Man, it's college basketball season, Ani. I mean, this is. I mean, everybody talks about Christmas, so this is the most wonderful time of year. I mean, our guys at Field of 68 next Monday are going to be having an all-day college basketball event coming in multiple states with teams playing, and we're having these exhibition games coming. And now is when we're talking about all the great things that are going to happen this year, and ranking the players and ranking their impact on the game, and all the stuff. Nobody's lost a game yet in college basketball. This is the best year. Everybody's happy. Everybody's excited, and it's here. It's here. Next Monday starts college basketball season, and it's going to be incredible.
Let's go. I'm excited too. I'm just excited basketball season. It started, like, I've been really I'm super excited about college basketball, but I'm like been indulging in a lot of NBA games right now. It's just good to, like, hey, when I get home, I can just watch some basketball, not watching like highlights or like games from like last season in college basketball or NBA. Like, I can actually watch something that's like live basketball, and I'm super happy about it. I'm excited. So let's go.
Let's do it.
College basketball season is coming up, less than a week away. Thank you. I messed up. Thank you to our subscribers, our viewers.
Everybody, Ani's not even perfect. The host, as much as you think he might be, we all trip up on our words. It's all right.
We all trip up on our words. Right. But we thank all you guys that are listening to Next Gen Pod this episode, and be prepared for the next episodes. And again, Jamie has a great idea. We're going to do our freshman power rankings every month, so be prepared for that. I think we'll have some really good arguments. Peace, y'all.